Hello. Hi. Welcome to my apartment and welcome to my very messy at the moment kitchen. Okay. Let's get this party started. I was just on YouTube for the last 10 minutes to make the announcement that I was coming over here. And I was doing that for a couple of reasons. I wanted to give you guys a heads up. I know that YouTube is not always um, sending out notifications. I don't know why this junk is blinking over here. I am getting a little bit more tech savvy. I actually helped a friend and a client today with her phone, which if you know me well, that's pretty shocking in itself. Okay. So hello, Susan. My kitchen looks so bright and so messy. Okay, so hello and welcome to the news that didn't make the news. Lots of this has made it to the news. And you guys, this was a really difficult decision for me. Hello, MT Phillips, and hello, Rod Tucker, and hello, Susan Ferguson. Okay, this was a really difficult decision because while I can sit here in my meditative state and let all the hecklers and the trolls make comments after comment after comment on this channel, where is that weird light coming from? Maybe it's my aura. Okay. Um, Hard decision because the more I let those trolls comment, the more it puts this out into the feed. Now, the reason that's kind of important to me is what I've noticed is these videos will never reach anyone outside of the subscriptions to this channel if I don't allow them to actually, if I don't allow people to actually comment. Sorry, I have a massive 80s hairdo from going on from my landscaping job today. Neither here nor there. So it was a hard decision because when I let those trolls uncontrollably insult everything from my body to my face, it throws it out in the feed, and we have a bigger chance, a higher chance, a greater possibility that these videos will get out just through the small amount of subscriptions on this channel, and they will actually get out to the public. I also notice when I do it on my computer that there are not very many people that show up. Carly, how are you doing? It's got to be at least midnight where you are, right? I don't know why I have this thing blinking. Okay, so it may not be getting out and it may not be getting around for the simple fact that, like I said, I've made the decisions. Oh, 9 a.m. Okay, I was thinking it was like noon over there. So I am going to allow you guys to be interactive. When I say allow, the reason I've made that decision is unless you're a subscriber 5 minutes before this video started, you are not going to be able to comment on this. And even sitting in front of the camera for a few minutes on Facebook with you guys mentioning a couple of questions or asking a couple of questions to me, I was getting more information than I already had. So here's what we're going to do, okay? This is about the things that need to be communicated. And I made an entire video about this probably about a year and a half ago. We are in the middle of something. So no side, Democrat, Republican, dark, light, male, female, right, wrong, is going to tell you the plan right now. People may be giving you pieces of the plan. And that's what I'm here to do as well, to give you pieces and parts of the plan that I feel are important. I have some minimal notes here and was asking some questions, okay? and getting answers in the multiple ways that I always get answers. I don't know what that light is. Oh, I totally forgot. I don't even have my O light in here. I totally forgot it. Okay. Oh well. So we're not having an O light. Sue me. Hello and welcome to the news that didn't make the news. I'm going to be talking tonight about the higher perspective of what is going on planet Earth and how that is mirroring in your own life. Okay, so we're going to be talking about Kennedy. We're going to be talking about the universal time loop. We're going to be talking about what's going on with the dumping of supposed migrants. Okay, these are the kinds of things we're getting into. Now, because I have it set to where only people who subscribe to this channel can comment, I'm gonna try to keep an eye on the comments. If you guys have any comments, anything you want to add, whatever, feel free to do that. I will actually look at those comments tonight, which I don't normally do, because in order for me to pull in something outside of the 3D plan or outside of what the 3D is showing us, that means that I have to go outside of the 3D vibration. And it's very hard for me to read comments and watch trolls talk about how I need plastic surgery and how I need to work out and all kinds of things. When I'm trying to bring a message in from this place, and comments like that take me out of that realm. And then I have to recenter and go back to that to bring you what's important. So that is why you can only comment if you are a subscriber to this channel. All right. So at any point, if you have anything that you're feeling, that you're thinking, if you have any questions, what I've noticed is that when I have conversations with people on the same wave of frequency, you may ask me something, and while you're asking me, I may think, well, gosh, I have no idea why Rod is asking me this. I don't know the answer, but while you're asking, the answer starts to come through. Okay, so I am, for this video anyway, I'm going to let you guys ask those questions if that's something you want to do. Someone please make a comment and let me know that you are still here. It looks like 6 people are here. I see 4 people, but just let me know that it's still working, please and thank you. Let me try readjusting my shorts here. Okay, then I guess you guys can hear me. It always seems to work better on the computer, but it doesn't seem to allow it to get around where I've got 84 people watching and a bunch of trolls commenting, because that really does help the message get outside the channel. But after some of the comments that were made in the last couple of videos, I actually went back and skipped to the end of my video to read all the comments. I was like, I can't even do this channel anymore. I can't be here anymore. I can't deliver this message anymore while people are intentionally working all of their dark magic to keep me distracted. And I'll tell you, that's exactly what it is, because I will have people in my feed show up with a close-up of their face that say, let's eat and chat, and they're in their pajamas with a bonnet on, and there's 500 people watching, and that person is staring into the camera saying absolutely nothing. Okay, so yes. Thank you for saying that, Carly. It has been incredibly difficult, especially in the last couple months. My videos have been getting around to 600 to 1,500 or more people. And the more those get around, the more trolls we have. So that's why I was saying it is it's a very fine line. We are in a mirrored reality, and we've all heard the term as above, so below, as within, so without, all of those things. There is always going to be a black and white, a hot and cold, a dark and light, a Democrat and Republican sort of um, vibe to the world, while we inhabit a third dimensional body on a third dimensional planet. And we cannot get away from that, right? We don't want to ignore that which is dark that goes on and focus only on the darkness and the control and the manipulation. But we also don't only want to focus on the light and the love and the unicorns and the Pleiades or whatever it is. We want to find ourselves in a neutrality and a patience and a balance. And this has been coming through for the last several weeks, that it's incredibly important for us to stay in our neutrality right now. And the reason is, and I'm not saying there's not a place and a time, because sometimes you have family situations or you've gone through something traumatic, and there is a time that you may need to 1111 focus on. That was the time. There comes a time, due to trauma or difficult situations in your life, that you really may need to focus on unicorns and rainbows and really happy, positive thoughts, and not look at anything in that polar opposite. Everything has its time, and everything has its place. So it's important for you to know that. Now, when I say we don't need to spend all our time looking at the dark agenda, initially we do. So it depends where you are. And the reason that I mention this is not only because our balance and our patience and within our neutrality is where you and I can all come together and say we may not agree on everything. We may have not had the same life experience in regards to everything, but within that neutral ground, within that patience, within that temperance and our tempering, our groundedness, with our otherworldliness as well. It's really the place that you and I can come together as a humanity and create change, not only in our lives, but on this world stage. And that's the whole point, that you came up here, that you came up here, that you came down here, you came up here, however you want to look at that, at this time, is to be balanced and tempered and patient with yourself and the world, so that we could accomplish what we came here to accomplish. So initially, no one wakes up by coming across rainbows and unicorns and positive information from angels and archangels. That's not how we wake up. We wake up through trauma. What that could be, a car accident, that could be coming upon the understanding of geoengineering or chemtrails or things like that, governmental manipulation, whatever. But the fall down the rabbit hole always begins not in the positive and not in the neutrality, but falling down that rabbit hole and waking up to the higher perspective of what's going on this planet and how we can change it is only found in that neutral ground. So you will bounce around. Initially, you will learn something. 999 completion. Nice, Carly. Thank you. And I so appreciate you guys being able to comment and not having to deal with the trolls. So initially, the way we wake up is through some dark rabbit hole. And sometimes that can be a near-death experience. It can be something traumatic. But for most of us, it's finding out about the control and manipulation that has been for a millennia on this planet. That's how the majority of us wake up. Okay. So when you first wake up and you're like, wow, this doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem right. I wonder if the food is okay. I wonder if the water is okay. I wonder if our military ever had our back in history, right? These kinds of things. It's all negative. And that negative rabbit hole does require some study and a whole lot of discernment. Okay. So what will happen is after you've gone to the depths of that darkness and seen that manipulation and control, you will kind of bounce over to the opposite side of that yin yang wheel, and you will visit the unicorns and rainbows and archangels and channelings from, archangels, channelings from the Pleiades, all these things, all this assistance. There's love, there's gratitude, there's honor. We have assistance. We're not here alone on earth. We don't have to do it ourselves. Okay. But there will be a bouncing around back and forth in both of those energies. And the whole point and purpose of that is so that we can do what we came here to do. But trust me, when I started studying the dark evil agenda of this planet in 2004 or 2005, I was not thinking love and light. Now I'm a little bit of the opposite, because I don't know if I was dropped in here as an angel in the form of a human body, because I remember talking to angels or interdimensionals or extraterrestrials, even as a child. So I was very much in that rainbow unicorn protection, knew I had a job in the crib. I knew that. Okay. But it required the dark rabbit hole to be bounced out to the other side. And the reason I'm saying this is, if someone is only in the love and light, unicorns, rainbow thing right now, the only way we're going to come together and solve this puzzle, right, like the Riddler, is if we work together in neutrality. Now, you're not going to be able to work together with anyone in neutrality if you haven't confronted the shadow that has run this planet for millennia. That also means that sometime, either shortly prior to your discovery of this dark manipulation, you will be forced to face your own shadow. Could be during, it could be after. So please do not pick on people for the space they are in now. Okay. So you could even have someone, let's say, that went down the dark rabbit hole and's been studying things for 10 or 15 years, and they might have lost a parent or gone through a divorce. And all of a sudden you see them only talking or reading or watching things about unicorns and rainbows. Okay. So don't judge people where they are. We do bounce around from dark to light side, and we kind of ping pong until we can adjust our vibrational frequency right down the center. Now, you cannot balance your vibrational center and move that personal body, light body, chariot, whatever you want to call it, down the center and steer your life, or steer humanity, if you haven't seen the dark side of the agenda, right? So if you're wanting to put things on the world stage, on the chopping block, how are you going to do that if you haven't seen the corruption that exists to be able to go there in the first place? Also, I will say to the people that everything has a time. You may feel like Athena or Jesus or Buddha or anyone is helping you, Ganesh, right, for a time. But Ganesh or Buddha or Athena or Mother Mary, nobody is there for that long term. They are there in a temporary capacity to assist you so that you can center yourself and push yourself, invite yourself to be pulled or magnetized down that tempered, balanced center where we can work together regardless of our gender, our political affiliation, our habits, our beliefs, our religions. Okay. We have to decide that there are certain things that we want together that we can create as a humanity. Okay. So please do not pick on people that appear to be stuck in the dark side of constantly looking up information. Also, do not judge the people. And I know it's hard and it can depend. And if you know someone really well and you know that they've been stuck in the, let's just say, love and light polarity only for the last 10 years, there's nothing that you can say to that person that's going to bring them to their own temperance, their own balance, and their own neutrality. They have to do that for themselves. Okay, so where is Tina going with this? I'm so glad you asked. And again, feel free to tell me, since you can only comment if you're a subscriber, how you feel. Is there things that you're concerned about? Whatever. I'm going to go on. I'm going to give you what comes through, and feel free to ask anything you want. After that, yes, observe rather than absorb. That has been my my life's motto, I think, for the past 3 decades, and it's really hitting home really hard lately. There's a lot going on. Okay, so let me start by saying that it is a mirrored reality. You can't go to love, light, and unicorns if you don't know about the corruption that has gone on in this planet for a millennia, and vice versa. I want to talk to you about some of the things that have filtered through my observations and my clairsentience, clairaudience. All I can think about is audience when you say clairaudience. Okay. So the first thing is this. There are time loops in everyone's life, and I've seen many people talking about time loops. 22, 22, 11. Wow, there's a number for you. Time loops are, you are born in a certain place in a certain time with a certain astrology, which doesn't run and control and manipulate your life, but it is the energy that you work with to make your life easier, more grounded, to kind of know what's coming up for you. So those things can be very, very helpful. I feel like I'm having an allergy attack, and I have no allergies whatsoever, except for to the government. I'm allergic to authority. I've always had a problem with authority, I think. Some of you might know that about me. So personally, there's a day when you were born. There's a day when you had children, or a day when you got your first job, right? Those are time frames. Those are time loops, okay? Now, let's use children as an example for a time loop, okay? Say you had a child 18 years ago. So when I refer to a time loop, your child at 18 is technically an adult. They're probably going to want to move out or go to college or get roommates or be independent from you. So your loop as a parent is not over, but perhaps the loop or the time frame where the child is in your house is over. Okay, so we are born on a certain day. We have children, all these milestones in our life, getting married. Those are what I'm referring to as time loops. Now, we all have different charts and stuff like that. Hopefully that sound is not coming through, because I have no idea how to turn that off. Okay, we all know how wonderfully tech savvy I am. Yeah, so time loop There are 12-year cycles. There are 7-year cycles, 30-year cycles, 50-year cycles, 100-year cycle, 52 year cycles, 26,000 year cycles, 52,000 year cycles, all of that. Okay, so go with me on this for a second. You have personal time loops that I was just mentioning, those things. Your birth, when you had children, when you went to school, when you got your first job, okay? Think about that as a time loop. We all have these things. We get married, we get divorced, we move geographical locations. Time loops, okay? 52,000 year cycle. There are cycles beyond that. Now, the reason why I'm going into this is to make sure, hello, Don Rock Solid. I don't know why you always bring out what was the name of that show in the 80s where they sang and danced? Solid Gold, the Solid. Rock Solid. You always remind me of that for some reason. Solid Gold dancers on the stage. Okay. When I'm talking about your personal time loop, now let's jump over to the time loop of the planet for a second. So the planet has time loops as well. Different species have different time loops. If you pay attention to science and if they're giving you the correct information they're giving you, you'll see that animals may disappear, then reappear on a time loop. There are all kinds of amazing time loops. Okay, so forget the 7-year, the 12-year, the 52-year, the 72-year. Let's go way, way, way out. I want you to go way out from that. Let's go beyond the self here. Let's look at the planet from a higher perspective, not only the planet, but the universe itself. Now, some like to say, and I like to make a joke about this, that the reason that Earth has always been such a hot commodity is because it is right next to the interstellar highway. So think about how much more money a gas station makes on snacks and coffee and gas and all the things that travelers buy when they're right off the expressway. Okay, so Earth has always been right on the interstellar universal highway, hence all the fighting and all of this other stuff. So we're going out from the personal cycle. We're going to go way, 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 way out from personal cycle. And we're going to look at the planet, not only the planet, we're going to look at the universe. Now, this started just coming through today, so I don't want to sit here and try to give you a universal time loop lesson because honestly, I don't have one. Here's what I heard today very loudly and very clearly. The end of the universal loop in time. Okay, so when you hear me and probably other people, if you got your eyes and your ears out on social media, talking about control and manipulation for a millennia, because I think everyone throws that out there because they're not sure, honestly, how long it's been going on, and neither am I. All I know is today I heard the end of a universal loop in time. Now, if you know as a parent, as a mom, oh, my son's 18. He's probably going to get a girlfriend. He's probably going to move out. He's probably going to go to college. I'm probably going to have an empty nest. There are all these things running in through your head. Okay. It may start when your son is 14, or maybe it doesn't hit you until your son is 18 or whatever. This is what's going on right now. We have a group of people that I don't believe anyone knows how long they've been rocking the boat and controlling and manipulating and puppeteering and running this planet and this section of the universe and controlling things and taking over, so to speak, the galactic gas station, selling the most snacks and the most tickets to the show on planet Earth. So if this is a universal loop in time, just like I would know, okay, my son's turning 18, he's probably going to, move out in some form or fashion. the people that have usurped, controlled, and manipulated this planet for millennia are also aware that the child is turning 18 and moving out. But it's not the child is turning 18 and moving out. It's that humanity is not going to deal with its crap anymore. Okay. And a lot of things are backing this up. I never give all stock and credence to anything, to ancestral help, to celestial help, to planetary military help. I never give all credence to numerology or astrology or anything else like that. But you can go back 200 years and look at the last time Pluto was in Aquarius and see all the revolutions that took place on this planet. Let's remember, even though you and I and other people have parts and pieces to this puzzle piece, the group that has controlled, usurped, and manipulated this planet for a millennia have the rule book. They know the child is turning 18 and is about to leave home. In other words, they know, power to the people, that people are going rogue in the most positive way, and they know there's nothing they can do about it, because this is the universal loop in time ending. And that means everything is upending. Now, when you want to talk about as within, so without, as above, so below, and all of those other kind of connotations that help you denote those polarities, I'll ask you just for a moment to step back from that and look at yourself. Okay, so I wanted you to go way out here and feel into us as a planet, as a people, freedom, sovereignty, end of universal loop in time. So the universal loop in time that is ending is the control, manipulation, and usurpment, not only of this planet, but of this section of the universe. And we are affecting the whole part of the universe out into the multiverse and the omniverse with what we do. That's why it's so important not to judge. Someone stuck their head in the sand in the love and light, or the other person stuck their head in the murky waters of the cabal and Illuminati for the last 10 years and won't get out of it. We have to stop judging and realize that that center road, that patience, that neutrality, that tempering of our emotions is the only way we're going to do this. It's the only way we're going to get freedom and sovereignty for the people, for all of sentient life, for the planet, for this section of the universe. This is a ripple effect. That's why there are so many people, let's say, watching popcorn and watching Earth on big screen. I made a video about this 1.5 years, 2 years ago. Okay. Listen to me very carefully. This is the Truman Show plus 8 billion. Okay. It's not just Jim Carrey is the guy and everybody else is in on it. Okay. We're all the guys. Okay. We're all the gals, all the whatever thing you label you want to throw on yourself. I don't care. Truman Show. That's what this is. The Truman Show plus 8 billion, right? Not just Jim Carrey. It's Tina. It's Carrie. It's Dawn. It's Susan. Okay. It's Rod. It's everybody. It's everybody being watched and every little thing we do. And it's more of the perspective of, watching us create liberation, planetary and universal freedom that ripples out from the universe to the multiverse to the omniverse. This is a big job. So if you feel tired at days, that's the reason why. Okay. It's not like you're going to Walmart and just transmuting Aunt Betty, who's had a pissed off day and wants to get ahead of you in line. This is from here to the omniverse. This is the end of a universal loop in time. Now, bring yourself back down from that perspective for a second. Go right down the center of yourself and say, what is the end of the loop for me? Perhaps there's a job. Okay. So whenever we're experiencing anything gigantuous, okay, I have never gotten the message about a universal time space or the end of a universal loop. Never. Okay. We all go through, and that's why I started talking about how we experience loops for ourselves. But notice how you will be not only in your own personal center, but you'll be noticing, your coworkers, your friends, your family going through very dramatic endings. Now, we cannot separate ourselves from this energy, okay? We can observe and not absorb, as Rod has said, and that has been my motto for years. We can do that, okay? So when you are maybe wanting to wait for one thing to end for you to end something else, you're not realizing how powerful and how brilliant you actually are, because you waiting to end something is part of that time loop. So if the whole universe is literally going through the end of a universal loop, and we're talking about the loop that's ending universally is control manipulation, okay? Where are you controlling your own life and something that needs to end? Where are you manipulating perhaps your family or your own life in something that you don't want to walk away from, that you need to walk away from? And I'm not saying anything bad. It's hard to hurt people, etc. But I'm saying when you know the end of a universal loop in time is here and how important that is, you'll notice that as a human in a 3D body on a 3D planet, you're mimicking that. There is something within your own personal timeline, job, connection to family, marriage, bad habit, religion. You could be working out too much. Okay. You could be lifting too much weights. Dawn, is that you? I'm just kidding. Just picking on you. Good or bad habits. This is a time when it's saying universally, this loop is coming to an end. So all of us little people we are nothing but a human antenna in a physical body. You don't think we feel this? You don't think we're walking around mirroring this, going, oh my God, I want my freedom from this job, or oh my God, I want my freedom from this oppressive family member, or oh my God, I want my freedom from this oppressive partner. I want to be free. I want to be sovereign. I want to travel the world, right? Why do you think everyone wants to be free and sovereign and travel the world right now? Because no one wants to be oppressed, right? At the macrocosmic level, the world stage, no, it's been going on for a millennium. And though, maybe your bad connection, your inadequate partnership, or your job that's out of alignment with you has only been going on for 5 years, or 10 years, or 12 years, right? Okay. And you want this to end. You want this universal loop of manipulation, control, and usurpment to end. But then how hard is it to quit smoking? How hard is it to leave a bad relationship? How hard is it, to tell your family members or, your friends, I'm just not in alignment with you or this relationship or this situation or this job or this geographical location? It's hard, and maybe you're picking on yourself. Maybe you're thinking, why couldn't I make this work? Okay. Well, you probably couldn't make it work because it's not in alignment with who you are as a soul. Okay. Now, if we're mirroring reality in our own personal way, in our own little personal Tina Hammond, Dawn Carly microcosm of reality, and I want this to end, I want the manipulation, control, and usurpment to end, then I got to stop whatever I'm doing that's not in alignment with who I am, right? That's why my Facebook page says Tina Hammond, not, Twinkle Toes, Fairy Tale, Tarot Tina, whatever it could have been. I could have done that. That'd have been the easy route. I could have come on here and made up some names so that the people that I worked with for years or went to school with for years couldn't find me on here, couldn't go back and say, God, I always knew she was weird, but this is really over the top. When you and I want the control, manipulation, and usurpment, which is what the end of this universal loop in time is giving us, then we have to put down the bottle or put down the cigarettes or get rid of the out of alignment relationships or jobs or religions or belief systems, whatever it is. It doesn't mean that everybody's getting a divorce, right? You may think in order to lose weight that you have to eat less fat. What happens to your body losing and gaining weight, having great relationships, making money without trying? All of that happens. The reason that the majority of that happens the way it happens is because that's what you believe. It doesn't happen because I went and got a college education and I was told to, and started a podcast and talked about my indoctrinated education and how I'm a doctor of psychology or whatever. It's my thoughts and my beliefs around what I'm doing. Before I go on for 3 hours, because we're already at 40 minutes, let me talk about some of the other things. Mirrored reality. This is the last thing I'm going to say. This control, this manipulation, this usurpment of the people in sentient life on the planet is going to stop. It's the end of the line. So if you're wondering why you have to change geographical locations, if you're wondering why you have to step out there on a limb and totally be yourself when it's absolutely terrifying, if you're wondering why you have to file for divorce, why you have to quit your job, all these things, if you're wondering that, it's because you are an antenna of brilliant light on this planet, mirroring the fact that I can't sit here with my bad habits, my old thought forms, my old partners, and my old ways and expect everything in the universe to shift around me when I'm not willing to shift. Okay, moving on. Kennedy. Now, please don't think I'm retarded, okay? Because I didn't know Kamala Harris was running for president until 3 weeks ago. I did not know that Kennedy was running for president. I went over to my dad's house, raised, okay, Democratic my entire life. Everybody in my family, as far as the eye can see, Democratic their entire life, okay? I have tried to give them parts and pieces to this puzzle, this higher perspective that goes above and beyond Democratic and Republican for the last probably 5 or 6 years. Now the things that I have said in the past have started to click. So I'm over having dinner with my dad and Jan when Jan says to me, well, I guess I'll go ahead and vote for Trump. And I about fell off my chair. This is not anything about my affiliation. I think you guys are pretty aware of what's going on the political scene intuitively, even if you haven't been studying it. I almost fell out of my chair when she said this. Okay, I want you to think about something for a second. Here's what instantly came to me. If Kennedy came out and said, you should vote for Trump. He's anti-establishment. He has his own money. He can't be bribed by big pharma or big agra or any of these crazy consuming planetary schmucks. She would have never listened to anything I said. You think about this for a second. Who's the one person? What's the one name on this planet? Okay, first of all, that family wants justice. And I'll leave it at that because I think we all know what I'm referring to. Kennedys want justice. They've been in this for a long time. But 4444, that means you're right on track. That was the time when I said that. No one's going to listen to Trump on the left, okay? And no one on the right is going to listen to Kamala Harris. Who's the perfect person to deliver a message to say, I am running for the presidency? Oh, wait. Oh, let me back out and let me side with Trump. And like I said, I had no clue that Kennedy was running. I don't care. I get enough information on a daily basis without needing to follow politics. But when I'll call her my second mom because my dad's been partners with her for 28 years. When she said Kennedy is no longer in the running and is backing Trump, I saw it. Now, I don't know how far down the line we're going to go with this. How far into the truth is Tina Hammond going to go with this? I don't know. We're going to find out. It's a lot easier when I don't have people here distracting me and pulling me out of it like trolls, I can assure you. What I saw when she said that, and you have to keep in mind that I literally know nothing about him, his politics, what he stands for, any of it. Shannon did send me 2 short videos. One was very interesting interview with Tucker Carlson, who has not taken an outside shower in 24 years. I wondered why I had an affinity for him the few times I saw him. What I got when she said this to me was the plan all along was for him to run as an independent. I don't even know if he's an independent. I'm just telling you as a psychic, this is what came through. Kennedy running as an independent and then subsiding or stepping out to back Trump. Trump was a plan from the word go. Please remember that this plan has been in placement since the 80s and is just now kind of coming into enactment. Yeah, I know. It's been a big triggering summer, right? That's what I got psychically. That Kennedy was put in as an independent, almost as a mole, if that's even the right term. You guys, you can't even imagine how far I am removed from any of this unless someone reaches out to tell me what's going on. I have no clue. Like I said, didn't even know Kennedy or Camilla was in the running. This whole thing is a plan. And I say that in hopes that you will be a little more neutral, that you will skate down or walk down or run down or hula hoop down the center lane of neutrality, okay, for everyone's sake, or we will never get anything done. I got that Kennedy running independently was nothing but a plan, because if you think about how many people and who would listen to Kennedy as opposed to anyone else, right? Why? Because he is tempered, he is balanced, he is right down the middle. And by God, if he says, hey, I'm moving over and supporting Trump, that is a big deal. Now, I'm not here to talk about the presidency. I just wanted to kind of touch on a couple of things that people have been letting me know. So the whole Kennedy thing was a setup from ground one. The other thing I want to say is what you are seeing on the ground is a distraction. I made an entire video about what is going to be coming through the airwaves. So you can think cell towers now. People keep mentioning me, agendas about people with vaccinations. And listen, you guys, were way too late. The end of a universal loop in time, referring to the end of the control, manipulation, and usurpment not only of this planet but of this universe, means they don't have time right now to come up with more plans. Okay. They can barely play the whack-a-mole game and keep everything down as it is. There is no new plan. What is going on right now has been in the books at least since the 80s, maybe before that. Whatever is happening on social media with people, oh, there's, yeah, God, you guys, I know you understand this, and maybe you don't think about it from this perspective. I can't remember his name. I have a friend that listens to Monkey something. He has a YouTube channel, and he watches the flight paths of like smaller planes, and he'll say, like all these military people or all these certain kind of planes are going to Hawaii, and all these planes are going to Guantanamo Bay. Right? There are people like me, like you, all over YouTube and social media platforms. Monkey Works. Thank you. That are watching things and tracking things. Okay, so my friend Shannon has been warning me that they were going to drop off all these people in Ohio, and I'm like, I don't have a high profile job. I don't have a high profile living place. I am as far from high profile as you can possibly imagine. So none of this will affect me no matter what they're saying. So I wondered why she kept sharing this with me. But that's why, guys, sometimes when you get a gift, okay, so Shannon is giving me this gift. She's telling me, hey, this is going on here. This is going on, whatever, with these things that she's, I guess, seeing on Twitter. I guess it's called X now. I'm not even on there. Okay, telling me about these 20,000 immigrants. What I want you to think about for a second. If you got Monkey Works tracking planes, and if you got people next to military bases saying, oh, well, here comes a military train. Here comes a military convoy. Here comes a bunch of people in uniform. I was at Walmart today and I saw a lot of people in uniform. I saw a lot of military presence. We have got to remember, I made an entire video about this. When you're in the middle of a chess game, there is no talking across the table. And there may be people like me and people like Monkey Works and people like David Wilcock and people all over the place trying to give you a little information or a heads up or telling you what their own intuition or discernment or information trail has led you to help you. But in the middle of a chess game, there is no talking across the table. Now, here's what I got. When I kept asking, why does Shannon keep bringing this up to me? I get it. She's like she acts like my older sister, even though I'm actually, if we were sisters, I'm 10 years older than her, 12 years older than her, something like that. But why is she bringing this to my attention? Because anytime someone brings something to your attention, that is a gift. And you may not know what this gift is, or where this gift is coming from, or why someone is giving you this gift. So I asked today, I had a conversation with the lady I was working for today, who I've been friends with for 8 years, whom I just, ever since the day I met her, I became an open channel. And, everyone says, don't talk about religion and politics and pedophilia and the underground evil government at work. I did it all and I couldn't control it. She went down the rabbit hole, and 8 years later, she is on Twitter and all these things, watching and all the stuff that I'm not watching. But I said to her today, why does Shannon think this is important? Like if I worked at some big corporation, I could see people being concerned for my safety with these kind of things going on. I literally as far under a rock as you can possibly imagine. So I only had to ask myself why a couple times, and then the information started coming through. If you had people parachuting into the Walmart parking lot, if you had convoys on the road and military trains and you're running into military personnel in Walmart and seeing them all over, then people would know what's going on, wouldn't they? When I asked what's going on, why would they drop 20,000 people on the East Coast? Now, I'm guessing the next thing we're going to see is 20,000 or 50,000 people being dropped on the West Coast. Now, why would we be dropping people on the coast? I'm going to tell you what came through to me. There is a book or folder or binder that contains a plan. Okay, this plan has been around for, I don't know, 40 years, 50 years. Maybe it's been in the back of someone's mind or the back of someone's locked desk for 200 years. I don't know, but the plan's been written down. And what I got when I asked that question is, there is a plan. It is written down, and the plan is to move people from overseas and make it look like 20,000 immigrants are coming to eat at Tina's local restaurant and say hello in the coffee shop and do crazy things. And maybe I'm right and maybe I'm not. But my ego doesn't care. When someone keeps telling me or showing me something, there is a reason. And when I asked, the answer I got was, this is part of the plan. This is going by the book. And the strategy is to literally bring people, military people from overseas. And if you think about this for a second, if you think about the end of a universal loop in time, you think it matters if we're American or not? You think it matters if I'm from Fort Knox in Texas? You think it matters if I'm from Area 51? No. The only thing that matters is that I'm done with the control, manipulation, and usurpment, not only of planet Earth, but of this universe. So what do? Oh, you bring in a bunch of people and say they're from, Cuba or Haiti or whatever. And oh, they're coming to your town, right? So that we're not looking. Because again, if you saw a military convoy with Monkey Works and me and David Wilcock and all these people tracking information psychically, energetically, physically, however you and I and all these people are tracking it, we're watching everything like a fucking hawk. Okay, that's my point. And if military was coming, everybody would be tipped off that military was coming. Am I right or am I wrong? I don't really care. When I asked, that's what I got. They are bringing people overseas. When you think, this is not Indiana versus Ohio and Kentucky here, right? This is not an argument for the State of the Union. This is the end of a universal loop in time where the whole universe is ready for freedom and sovereignty. Okay, so again, you have to look at that bigger perspective. If you're going to say, oh, well, that person's from Asia or that person's from Venezuela or they're South America, what are they doing over here? Okay, this is not United States against other parts of the world. This is the end of a universal loop in time where we gain our freedom, okay? Where we gain our sovereignty. I don't care if you're black, white, or a frog who can, drive a truck and work a CB. Anybody willing to be a part and partial to this end of usurpment, manipulation, and planetary control and puppeteering, not only for this planet, but for this section of the universe. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what political affiliation you are. Come one, come all. Who wants peace and sovereignty? Would you like to come overseas and be dropped onto the East Coast so that you can help pull this thing off in a way where we're not detected by Monkey Works and Tina Hammond and David Wilcock and Corey Good and every person on the planet doing their job? on social media to bring freedom and sovereignty not only to this planet and to this universe. We need everybody. Universal freedom and sovereignty, it knows no color, it knows no gender, and it knows no nationality. Think about things in a bigger way when you hear things. And there ain't nobody that's going to come out here and hopefully I'm okay, because when I dump military information, I have to be really, really careful. In fact, yesterday I pulled into the grocery store and I saw an open spot and I didn't want to park behind this van because I got a really bad vibe. And it was like not old and falling apart with curtains and, looked like the Candyman lived in the back or anything like that. It was not using my eyes. It was solely the vibration of where I was and what I was doing. I did not want to park there. Okay. I parked there anyway. Now, as I was coming out of the store and walking to the parking lot, I pulled a pen out of my purse, and a guy that was sitting in the truck, didn't see him sitting in the truck before. I'd been in the grocery store for 35, 40 minutes. He's still sitting there, no groceries, nothing, just sitting in a dark van in the parking lot, sees me pull a pen out of my purse and says, "Oh, can I use your pen?" I'm like, oh, hell no. All he wanted to do was what I saw was, and I am not paranoid, you guys. I will walk through my neighborhood when it's 100 degrees, half naked. I don't give a shit with my copper belt and my bare feet. I am not a person who lives in fear. But when that guy said, "Hey, can I use your pen?" I immediately saw that he wanted to get me over there. There was someone in the back of the van, and the idea was to pull me into the back of the van. Gotta listen to your intuition. And I also have to, hello, Christina Maria Schindler, Yada Chatta live from the Redwood Forest. How you doing? Late to the show, you may have to restart here. Pay attention to your intuition, okay? And I say this a lot, but if have a vegan channel and I'm making videos and I go to McDonald's for a cheeseburger right afterwards, I leave myself open for attack from that other side. I am very careful. I am very vigilant, and most of the time, very free, very sovereign, do what I want, say what I want, walk around here literally, like I said, half dressed when it's 100 degrees, and I don't care. But when I get that feeling that something here is off or something is weird or someone wants to pull me in a van, and I almost even felt like just saying, "No, you can't use my pen," was going to be an issue. And I was just like trying to get in my car as fast as I could. But of course I had, umpteen gallons of water and whatever. So it wasn't a fast process. But I felt fear in that moment. I hope and I trust that this is not, these videos don't have a tendency to get out real far. So I doubt anyone's going to pinpoint me to this. But all I'm saying is, when you see immigrants being dropped off or any of the other things that they're talking about, know that we're in a military strategy and you're not going to get the whole damn plan. As much as we've all turned into planetary detectives, and I think we feel a responsibility and a loyalty to planet Earth, and maybe for most of us, universe. And I know, and mine certainly goes omniversal, or I wouldn't be doing this after the things people have been saying to me, the horrible things that people say to me every time I go live on this channel. Please share this information. And I'm not saying this just so you can say, "Oh, well, 20,000 immigrants got dropped off in the East Coast," and it doesn't mean anything. What I'm telling you is, what I'm getting is, it's military action without the training, without the convoy, without the cambo. In other words, it's the slickest military you could get. Now, prior to this, we have underground railroads and underground transportation and things that move a million times faster underneath. So what I've said in a video probably 3 years ago is if you're seeing anything on the surface of Earth, it's meant for you to see because they can certainly move people around underneath the planet with you having zero knowledge of it. However, since those things were being used for manipulation, control, and usurpment, and we are at the end of a universal loop in time, those underground places are not in use right now. They have been shut down to keep certain people and their affiliates out of those. So now, instead of just being able to shuffle military underground, where Tina, David Wilcock, Monkey Works, and everybody and their brother on social media is not seeing it, they got to have another way to drop plainclothes people off. Now, I'm not saying this just to make you aware of this situation. I'm saying this because take everything you see and read and hear with a grain of salt. In other words, when it comes to this, are they dropping 20,000 people off? Absolutely could be 100% true. Are they dropping, people from another country to come over here and do ridiculous things? Probably not. But you have to remember that false flags are going to come from both sides. And you also have to remember the end of the universal loop in time. The end of you manipulation, puppeteering, and the usurping of freedom and sovereignty on this planet is coming to an end. And everything is speeding up, right, to the speed of light. So while you may hear or see or feel this information coming through you, oh, this thing is happening, that thing probably is happening. But unless you know why that's happening, just don't get bent out of shape about it, okay? Because the biggest tool that they have anyway is throwing something out there and having you and I and a third of the planet envisioning that tall tale or that negative thing to happen. We will literally create it. So even if I don't know the truth, even if I'm not seeing this as some sort of strategic military action, and it's not. If a lot of people believe that this is a strategy of the good to save us, do you see what I'm saying? There's no bad side to this. I told you what I see, what I feel. This dropping people up all over the United States is a military action. But please remember, one of the only tools they have left is to show you or tell you something on social media, because no one's watching the news. They can show you or tell you something, and you talk about it, read about it, dwell on it. All of us do this. We create it. I'm not creating this crap, right? That's why I started to say an hour ago, this end of the universal loop in time, this end of control, manipulation, and usurpment on this planet and in this universe is going to mirror down what needs to change. Do I need to stop smoking? Do I need to stop drinking? Do I need to file for a divorce? Do I need to stop working for a company that goes against everything I believe in? The faster we do this, the faster we end this. And this ends in freedom and liberation. And the problem that I have, and the problem that most of us have, is it's hard after so many years of detective work to not want to be a detective and know what's going on. Okay? We can't know everything that's going on, or it wouldn't be a military coup, right? So, everything on the freaking planet, from your diet, how much fat you need, what the military's involved in, who said what on the social media stage, what's going on in politics. Excuse me, politics. It's all a psychological operation. Everything you're seeing, everything you're hearing, everything everyone's telling you about is a psyop, right? but it doesn't mean it's bad, right? It doesn't mean that. Thank you for being here. And until next time, the news that didn't make the news remains in peace and freedom and sovereignty. And good night to all of you. And thank you so much for your positive feedback and comments. I will probably continue to go live. Please share this if for no other reason, so that people can understand that the PSYOP is for a reason, and that even though you see movement and even though it may be military, it's not, doesn't mean it's negative. And the more we think and feel it is positive, the more positive will be. And the end of the manipulative loop, it's here, right? There is no new plan. There's nothing but whack-a-mole to keep all these people from talking and watching and everything else. Okay. We have become a planet of people who are detectives, who want freedom and sovereignty. And that means even more than ever that military things, as much as you and I and everyone else is digging for information and tapping into intuition and whatever, we're not going to have the whole piece of the puzzle. Oh, but is going numb. Thank you so much for being here at the news that didn't make the news. Please share this so people are not freaking out. Okay. Please share this so people will have an idea what is going on. Okay. Thank you, Christina. Okay. Good night. Goodbye.